What's up, Push Past 10 Nation? Come on in, check in, post a message. Let us know that you are here. Simone here. And what is up with these prices? You know, everywhere we look, from DOMLEC to rent to groceries to gas, we just see these prices continuing to soar. As a matter of fact, inflation has been at its highest right now since the last 40 years. So this has been the highest inflation rate since the last 40 years. So will these prices continue to rise? Will we ever see these prices go back down? We know you have lots of questions. I know you just want to vent. I want to vent. So we have not one, but two financial experts joining us from the US, and we have a financial expert who is new to our community joining us all the way from Canada. You know, we get about 13 to 18,000 visitors every month on Push Past 10. So as we continue to grow, we continue to bring in even more experts to guide us, to help us to navigate these very troubling, turbulent times. So come on in. Don't forget to share the live. Let everyone know that we are here. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and now we are streaming live on pushpast10.com. So pushpast10.com for anyone who is not on Facebook, but you know would like to be a part of the conversation. So let us go ahead and invite our financial experts into the conversation. And of course, we have our resident financial expert, Mr. Havis Badwell, Badui, if you're in America. And, you know, he is the handsome face that you see at the beginning of each of our programs because he is our official sponsor of our Facebook Live program. So, Havis, just say hey to the people. They know you're ready.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? Good night, good night, good night.
Great to have you back on, Havis. And of course, thank you for supporting our programming. Felix, you are new to our platform. You are new to our international community, and we're very happy to welcome you. So go ahead and just introduce yourself and let our audience know who you are. And again, thank you for approaching us, and thank you for joining our community.
Yes, definitely. I'm Felix Thomas, and thank you so much for having me here. I'm excited to be here to share the knowledge that I have and to also answer any questions anyone may have, and also to even learn from everyone, the audience, and also the two of you brilliant minds. So thank you so much for even allowing me to be on this. I look forward to many more to come and to also seeing people actually benefiting from the information that we share today.
Yes, absolutely. So give us a little bit of your background and your professional experience.
Okay, so many years ago, I was born on a cold winter. I grew up in Dominica, and no, well, for most of my life, I lived in Dominica, and then I came to Canada in 2011, where I went to school for 4 years. Went to university, got my degree in accounting, and luckily, I secured a job with Scotiabank back in 2015. I've been a financial advisor ever since. Worked at Scotiabank for 2.5 years, and then I started running my own financial practice, where I help seniors and young professionals to build and protect their wealth. So I deal with investment stuff, mortgages, all types of credit products, insurance, and building financial plans to help people to actually better their financial future. So
Yes, absolutely. So it is great having you here. So let us just talk about the craziness that is going on in the world today. I just think, when is this inflation going to subside? I mean, what are you guys hearing from your clients in terms of where they're struggling, what they're dealing with at this time?
It's so funny you asked that question, Doc. A client called me today from Philly. She's about 72 years old. She'll be taking what's called a minimum required distribution from her annuities, a qualified plan. She's a retired City of Philadelphia health worker. And she says, I was listening to Susie Orman and I got mad. I said, don't listen to her. Don't listen to her. But, anyways, I was trying to explain to her that what we did for her, we protected everything for her, where zero is the hero. I'll explain what that means. In other words, because she was in her 60s already, we wanted to hedge against losses in the markets. So, what we did was we created some financial planning for her. So she will never lose a penny and she will incrementally grow. So I was trying to explain to her that she should not worry. But I guess with inflation being high, people are crazy. People are going. I think in March, inflation was at 8.50%. I think the highest in 40 years. I mean, I graduated high school 40 years ago in Boston, 1982, and it's been the highest since. And I'm saying to myself, what are we going to do? But I think tonight, Felix is going to give some great points. But I will say this. I will say this to people. This is what we've been telling you about for the rainy days and the tough times. You always got to save something. And I'm not picking on my Dominican friends because I always get in trouble. We can, I mean, COing is part of our culture, but we can't just CO all the time. We have to put something aside. And we also have to hedge against losses. And we'll address more of that a little later.
And Felix, I'm going to come to you, but of course, we have to greet everyone who's already joining us on Facebook. Glenda Shillingford, always lovely to see you. Blessed Thursday, Simone and guests. We have Javon Matthew. Big up, Felix, for all financial tips. Alexander is here with us. Frederick Barron, great to see you. Josephus Joe Scotland, Dave Bertrand, and Stout is here. Hildreth is here. Lawrence. Henrietta LaRoche Havis is also watching. So
Yes,
thank you for that.
we're watching.
And of course, as you come on in, share the live, let everyone know that we are here, and let us know. Just let us know, how these prices are affecting you, from DOMLEC to rent to everything else that you're dealing with. Let us know what your experiences have been so far. So, Felix, what are your clients saying to you about this madness?
well, for the most part, I think my clients, they're actually saying thank you to me, because if it's one thing that I always expound on, as Havy said, is this is what we've been telling you all about. Like, there's going to be rainy days, right? And if we really check it out, I mean, we all are alive for long enough to know that there are going to be good times and there are going to be bad times, which just means that the future really belongs to those who prepare for it now. If you don't prepare for it now, when a crash comes, when a crisis comes, there's nothing you can do at that point in time, right? Because you were not prepared. But if you were prepared, you have some leeway for you to, sit back and see what you can actually do to improve your situation and to even take advantage of opportunities that may be around. Because right now, even though we're having like all these crises happening, like, the war in Russia, all those things that are affecting inflation right now, I mean, like, there's a lot of opportunities that present itself because the most millionaires are actually made in these types of times, you
Yes.
know. And I actually wanted to start by just bigging up Jervon as well. You know, thank you for coming on, Jervon, and coming on support. That's my high school friend as well. So I love to see that he's actually tuned in to listen to what we have to say. And thank you for everyone else that comes on as well.
Yeah, and I think you already raised the good points, and we're going to lead in that direction in terms of recommendation. But how did all this inflation get started? You know, we hear about the supply chain crisis, so tell us about that. We hear about the war in Ukraine. We hear about COVID-19. So was it that just all of this just came together to create one big mess? How
Yeah.
did this even get started?
Well, from my lens, how it actually got started is from basically with the pandemic starting. You know, with the pandemic starting, you know, a lot of people actually ended up losing their jobs. The government had to step in and actually provide subsidies to businesses and to individuals, basically provide income supplements for them to actually, you know, stay on their feet and just be able to afford their basic needs. So what happened as a result that there was actually a lot of money being pumped into the economy, right? And it was just a lot of money printing. So when you have a lot of something, right? Usually what happens when you have a lot of something is that the value of it goes down, right? Anything that is scarce, the value tends to be high, just like gold, right? Now that we're having the Russian war, whenever there's a war, no one wants to be shipping oil anywhere, right? So oil is now scarce, and that's why we're actually seeing that oil is going up in value as well worldwide, all right? So it's like all these things just come together and actually push up inflation. In addition to that, actually, one thing I want to do mention is that in recent times, as we can see, there has been a lot of changes to the way that we actually do work. Like even what we're doing right now, before the pandemic, I don't think we actually did well. We did something like this, but it wasn't to the extent that we do it today, right? So people are working differently, and in addition to that, people are actually demanding higher wages, right? With all this thing happening, because I mean, milk no longer cost $1. I'm sure you all were alive at the times when milk cost $1,
You trying
right?
to say we old?
Well, 39,
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm just
Well,
trying to say
39.
that.
Davis, he just call us old.
I'm just trying to say you all have a lot of wisdom, you know, probably maybe 3 times more than me, right? Okay, that's all. Right. So basically, as you can see, it's like, you know, we have to just, I don't think, I mean, I wouldn't say that it is something that is going to end, so to speak. I think it is something that will probably just, you know, keep on adjusting. And we as human beings just have to adapt to it, you know. And I think one of the adaptation mechanisms that we've been using is demanding higher wages because wages are not increasing at the same rate as inflation, right? You see a lot of people actually leaving jobs to basically go and like run their own business as well. You know, like online businesses has been on a rise, and that's why you have a lot of those tech companies even increasing in like their values as well. I know we're going to be speaking of Amazon stock as
Yes.
well, but
Yes.
Amazon is another company that contributes to that because you know a lot of people actually sell stuff on Amazon. You know, Amazon has actually created a lot of millionaires as well in our time, right? So it's not that they just make money; they don't make money just for themselves. They help other people make money, and when you actually learn that business as well, you know, it would most likely actually help you to improve your own financial situation. We're all trying to find a way to make, you know, more money. A lot more people are finding a side hustle, you know, and so forth. People are using their skills. Look at you, Simone. You know, you bring in Havis and I together to so that we all actually combine our skills and share it with the rest of the public. So you know there's a lot of different things that people are getting creative with in order to you know bring value, and basically the value that you bring you usually get paid for it, right? Because what you get paid for is your value on the marketplace, right? So you know these are the, I guess I would say these are some of the positive changes that we're seeing with these things, even though
Yeah.
we're in bad times, like it does bring like some positive changes to the human society, I would say. So
Yeah, yeah. And Havis, I already want to thank you for recommending Felix because I can tell he's going to bring a wealth of information to our audience. So we're
yeah.
very happy to have him. And you know, you already hit on some great points. And especially, I think so many of us thought that now that many of us are working from home, we were going to able to be in a better financial situation, right? Because less commutes, you no longer have to buy that lunch, you no longer have to, buy that coffee, the value of time with your family. But it just seems like even with groceries, the prices keep going higher. Every time you go to the supermarket, the prices are getting higher. And the funny thing about it that I always observe is when times change, the prices never go back down. So it's just like when they started implementing the fee for the bags, it was because of whatever the situation was. But have they removed the charge for the bags at the airport? No, they just kept it. Anyway, I am like just venting. So Havis, your thoughts.
No, Doc, you're right. I mean, even think about toll booths. I mean, I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts. Obviously, everybody knows I'm from La Pointe. Dominica is my home. But I grew up in Boston from the 70s until I left in about 2005. But I'll tell you this, even the toll booths in Massachusetts and Boston has been paid for, but they still keep it.
Yes.
Why? They talk about revenue. It's funny. I'll tell you something. I was watching an interview yesterday. One of the former secretaries of the Treasury of the United States said that actually unemployment is down.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't even realize that. But Felix made a great point. He said that people are demanding more money. And it's true. I mean, during the pandemic, people were underemployed, they were furloughed, they were downsized, they were fired, all the different things that happened, right? Right now, Elon Musk is telling his people to come back to work, because or else. But I'll tell you this, with what's going on right now, it's not the first time. Do you remember in 2005, I think, Doc, when George Bush the son was president, gas was about 5 something in certain places a gallon in the summer, I think the summer of 2005. And people were like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We should be drilling. We should be doing this. We should be doing that. You're going to have cycles. And the market sometimes is up, it's down. We've had crashes. And it always corrects itself. The important thing for each of us to realize is this, and I think Felix touched on that point. He said, this is the time where people, millionaires are made. During the pandemic, do you know, I read an article, it said per capita, African-American women became entrepreneurs, earning 6 figures, a lot of them. Women, now men as well. Just because we're having tough times, it doesn't mean that you stop. That's when you start to dig in, you take that shovel. In Dominica, I believe after Creole Fest, they have community cleaning day or whatever it's called.
Community day of service.
The day of service. Well, right now is your community day of service to start. What do I want to do? Can you bake? Start baking cakes. Can you cook? I don't sell lunches. I mean, in my industry, we're always hiring. We're always looking for other financial professionals to bring them in. All I'm saying is, even with what's going on with prices being high, and I know some people are struggling and some people are hurting, but this is the time you have to search yourself and have a side hustle. And your side hustle may end up paying you more than your regular hustle. And then voila, you have entrepreneurs galore.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see the crowd is still coming in. We have Dashin Leaf is here. That's a nice name, Dashin Leaf.
I love it.
Irresistible Cordelia. We have some very creative names here. Dave Bertrand, good evening. Dr. Matthew Felix Havis, and the listening public. Sharon, great to see you. Sharon Doreville is here. Tracy Charles, showing John Baptist. Petter, nice to see you. Anthony Simon, Shirley, Marcella, Catherine, Crystalline. My eyes are going, but I refuse to get glasses. Don't tell my mother. Rayon is here. So we have quite an audience who is joining us. So I think one of the areas we should probably talk about is the importance of the skills that we have that we can now use to turn into income. Because I think that is where one of the opportunities that we will talk about this evening lies. Because so many people are struggling. And one of the things that Felix mentioned is that everybody needs more income.
Right.
But are employers willing to increase the incomes? The answer is no. right? So let us talk about the importance of how can we use those skills that we have in order to generate incomes. And the very first thing that comes to mind is websites like Fiverr, where you can be an editor. If you're a graphic designer, whatever skills that you have, you can go on there and promote yourself and get folks to hire you. So I think that is where the future lies, in
Well,
being
just
able to sell your skills
hey Doc,
independently.
just before Felix goes, I do want to say this. This is paramount. You hit the nail on the head. Especially a lot of people watching from Dominica, or they're from the in the diaspora Dominicans. You know, per capita, young people in Dominica are very tech savvy in terms of
Mhm.
internet savvy. E-commerce is paramount. I don't I don't know why. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not picking on the young folks. I'm just making a point here, so don't hate me, folks. Love me. You guys know how to use Facebook, Twitter, I mean Instagram, I mean you name it, TikTok. Think about ways companies could hire you to do work for them, whether it's regionally in the Caribbean or internationally. And if the quality of your work is good, think about it, folks. You can make a fortune. So start thinking about e-commerce, because e-commerce is paramount. It's the wave of the future. Your parents and your grandparents and the old people like me, we might be like, oh, but the thing about it is, guys, it's paramount. And Felix, I know you want to talk on that. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
give the mic to you.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you. Well, you know what? Just extending from what you just said, I just want to actually take a moment to actually big up some of the young folks in Dominica as well.
Good, good.
Because
Yes.
I
Very
actually
important.
spent, yeah, I spent like a month in Dominica this year, right?
Mhm.
And I met some people who basically they really impressed me, because I mean, all of us been to Dominica, we know it's not easy, and everybody's singing that same song that things are hard and all
Right.
that. But at the same time, like we have some young folks that actually doing some big things down there. And going back to your point, Terence, about the social media stuff, I see that a
Yes.
lot of them actually leveraging
Mhm.
social media
Oh,
to do
call their
some.
names. If you can remember anybody's name, call their names because we
So,
want to give them the promotion.
of course,
Luana
100%.
Luran,
Yeah.
Jody
Yeah, so
Dangleman. Oh,
as
Yes,
actually going to
Luana, Luana, Jody. Call
yes.
their
there
names.
was there was someone I met at the airport who actually running her own she has like a hairline business. I can't remember the name off the
Was it
top of my head.
Jody?
Was it
No,
Jody? I don't know.
no,
Does
that
she work
might be
at the
somebody
airport?
else. Yeah.
Does she have locks?
No, she has
Okay, so it's
natural hair.
not
Somebody else.
okay. Well, her hair is her locks natural. Like she is
Mhm,
not full like full locks, yeah, but
mhm,
I checked. I remember I got her Instagram page and I checked it out and I see that she actually doing something there.
mhm.
Um, there was actually someone else that I was talking to. I was talking to my cousin and she was mentioning someone else who does her daughter's hair, and
Is
she
it
was saying
Daniela?
how,
Is it Daniela Edwards
man,
Blaze?
I wish I remember this,
Oh, he doesn't
but
remember the
I
name.
don't remember the names. I follow them on
Okay.
Instagram, because the thing
Right.
is like they inspiring me as well. Because
Mhm,
it's like they down in Dominica where everyone balling, well most of the population balling, and they actually doing something.
mhm,
I not going and say that like Dominica doesn't have its challenges, but the thing is that no matter what situation you are in, I think that it really depends on the type of person you are. And if you see you're a person who actually want to build things, um don't expect that you're going to build something and not get some kind of resistance.
mhm,
You're going to get some kind of resistance, but if you persist and you're very clear and very like strong on what it is that you want to do,
mhm,
I think you'll make a way and you'll attract the right people to help you make that way. You know what? Speaking of Jody, I think I know who's that Jody you're speaking of, and that was someone
mhm.
I was informed of about. She's from Massac, right? And
Yes,
doing like
that's
soap.
right.
Yeah, I remember from since I was a little kid. I remember Jody and her mom was
Mhm.
principal of
Yes,
yeah. Okay,
Mrs.
good.
Dublin.
Yeah,
Mhm,
so yeah, she wasn't the person I was thinking of, but now that I mentioned, yeah, she is another person as well that's on
mhm,
that. So it's like I wish that you see people like Jody. I wish people would actually seek people like her for advice as well,
mhm,
or if she actually could probably even come on this show
mhm,
um, sometime to provide some kind of advice for people. as well, because I
Yeah,
think,
she's been here and she's actually in another program with me on Q95 next Wednesday. So
oh,
I
perfect.
try to have her on as much as possible because I think, we need to highlight people
Yeah,
like Jody who start from scratch. But what I'm also
exactly.
trying to do is ensure that we don't have generations of people who are always starting from scratch. Right?
Yeah,
So if we take what Jody has learned along the way, if we take what other entrepreneurs have learned along the way and we present it, then the next person doesn't have to start from scratch. Because think of it this way, right? Whereas you could be starting on a firm foundation, most of our people are starting below the foundation because they're
yeah,
starting from zero.
yeah,
But if we use the example of Jody and people like Luana, who
Yes.
already have laid the groundwork, but the
Yes.
issue is, I firmly believe that people should get paid for their skills.
of course,
So I
100%. Yeah,
don't expect, I would love to have maybe Jody or Luana teach a course in how I did it, but I don't want them to do it for free
no, they have to make money
because
from it because,
their knowledge and skills are worth something. So
of
that
course,
is where the issue lies.
I'm
definitely,
texting
yeah.
Luana now and tell her that start a course.
Yeah,
Mhm,
yeah, they should.
mhm,
Like there should be some kind of a master class that people like them actually
mhm.
run.
Yeah.
And yes, there should be a payment. I 100% in agreement with you
Mhm.
that they should be compensated for that as well.
Yeah,
Because
so let's stay in the area of
okay,
opportunities in this
yeah,
environment because I think many times we get so caught up in what the problem is, it
hmm,
blocks us
exactly.
from seeing
Yep.
the opportunities because we just keep thinking, boy, everything is so expensive. I have a DOMLEC bill, I have this bill, I have that bill. So it kind of takes away our ability to see where the opportunities lie right now. So let's talk about that. What are your thoughts, Felix, on the whole Amazon stock split? And of course, we are not giving any financial advice on this program. We're simply sharing information. I don't want my financial experts to get in trouble. If any, governing body.
Hmm.
So go ahead,
Yep.
Felix.
Exactly. Good. Well, you know what? I'll actually start with a question to the two of you all. Um, have you all ever used Amazon before?
Of course,
No,
every day. Every
no,
day.
No, you
not
haven't.
me.
Okay,
But
Havis,
I've
you.
had people. I've had people order stuff for me, but I know. But I don't have an Amazon account.
Felix,
So
I
you
use it every
benefited
day.
from it then. So you've used it indirectly.
Indirectly,
Okay.
yes, sir.
You've used it
Felix,
indirectly. Okay.
Felix, I use it every day.
Use it. There you go. And
Two
if you have
extremes.
kids, your kids probably worse.
Yes.
You see?
If you have a
And
wife and kids, they do it, man, every day.
okay. So I think it's fair to say that almost everyone has used Amazon in some way
Yes.
or form, right? And the reason being is that everyone has actually seen the value in it, right? The convenience it provides, the efficiency, the selection of stuff. So with the stock split now, just keep in mind, right? What the stock split really doing, it's not going to be increasing the value of Amazon. What it's going to the only thing I would really say it's increasing is accessibility. And the reason why I say accessibility is because the price, I think it's like over 2,500 US right now.
Yep.
How
Yes.
many of us, yeah, so how many of us regular people actually have $2,500 to buy just one stock, right? Now, when they do that 20 to 1 split, which means that for every stock that they have, you're going to get like 19 more. So that way you have 20. Every
Yes.
one stock turns into 20. And
Correct.
the price is also going to be divided by 20, right? So they're basically just cutting that pizza into slices, so that more people can eat it. Instead of me alone eating that entire pizza, after I slice it up, now I can give Havis a piece, I can give Dr. Simone a piece, I can give, your kids a piece, my kids a piece, Havis kids a piece, right, of that. So that's what it's going to do. It's just basically going to increase the accessibility, increase the amount of people that can actually afford to buy just one stock. Now, history has shown, right, that after a stock split, with Amazon has done, I think it's 3 stock splits before, and almost, well, every one of them, they have had a rally to the upside shortly after. And I think it's really not because of value, it's just because of the accessibility. Like more people can now buy it,
And the
and
money.
people see the value in it. So people are going to basically plug more money into Amazon because of that, right? Because I mean, none of us can really see the end of Amazon right now, right? We see that Amazon is going to be a thriving company for years to come,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's what we see right now. And it's not only us that's seeing that, everyone else is seeing it, and everyone is anticipating that stock split right now, right? So that in itself is what's that going to push up, will most likely push up the stock price, right? We don't know which direction it's going to go. For all you know, it could actually crash, it could go down. But I think the main thing to actually look at is just the value of the company itself, like what the value is that it brings. If you have benefited from it, and you've seen some value in it, and you know a lot of people who've seen some value in it, it's most likely a very valuable company, right? You know, whenever where you like anywhere you go and you say Amazon, no one is thinking of the Amazon in Brazil, right?
Right, right,
Yeah,
right,
they're thinking of the company, right?
right.
So yeah. As far as the stock splits goes, I'm thinking of what else I could say. But do you have any other questions
Yes,
about?
yes, no, you explained it quite nicely. And Havis, let me come to you because I think it also begs the question that so many of our people are afraid of getting into the stock market. Havis. So I mean, is it recommended that you get into stocks? What are your views on that?
I will be honest with you. I'll approach it from a different objective.
Mm-hmm.
Felix did an excellent job.
You did.
And this is what I want to add to it, to what he just said, augment it a little bit. If you're using Amazon every day, there are some people who use Starbucks every day. There's some
Mm-hmm.
people who buy Nike sneakers every day. Or not every day, but you want to run down. You got to have an iPhone. You got to have. Why aren't you buying stock in those companies? For example, in America, you may borrow 100 grand, 150 grand to go to college or medical school, more than that. But you won't take a loan for $5,000 to do that. Now, I don't tell people they should. I'm not opposed to investing. I'm not opposed. I always tell my clients I'm the save money guy. For years, I was a financial advisor dealing with mutual funds and stocks and bonds. But I'll tell you this: if you're going to use Amazon so often, you may not be able to afford a share. I think May 25th it was 2,220 a share. Well, you can get mutual funds. All right. And
Mm-hmm.
that way you can dollar cost average. They call it DCA. Dollar cost averaging is like every week, like for example, your paycheck, right? You get paid either weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. So every time you get paid, you have funds, the same amount, go in and buy shares. Now, the thing about it is sometimes you buy in high, sometimes you buy in low, sometimes you buy in level. So it averages out. That's why they call it dollar cost averaging. By doing that, it's kind of the same thing with your 401k, your 403b or 457 or your TSP if you're a federal employee. It's the same concept. So use that. And everybody uses Amazon. And don't get me wrong, I don't think it's bad. I just think I just don't have one. But the
Mm-hmm.
thing about it is use these concepts and try to own some of. If you're using something all the time, try to own it. And that's my only downfall, especially for people. Now, someone told me in Dominica it might be harder for people to do that, but you know what, there's different things you can do. There's regional companies in the Caribbean you can get as well. But it doesn't matter if you're in Canada, the US, if you're in Europe or in the Caribbean, you have to have a plan. And the companies that you're using all the time, make sure you own some of it. And that's where you feel ownership, you have more pride. You talked about the Japanese, they don't make anything, but they make everything better, right? But they're buying everything. Same thing, they're buying everything. The Chinese as well, they make the stuff, they buy stuff. It's really important that we understand the concept of investing in what we actually invest ourselves into. In this case, it's Amazon. And what you're going to do it like Felix just said. The stock split is going to allow you to participate at an affordable price that you can manage, but start small, start somewhere and then grow. But the great thing is that it's never too late to start, and lately there's a big sale in the market. A huge
Mm-hmm.
sale.
Yeah, because that is what I wanted to talk about as well. Because Havis, I think it was you that mentioned that this is the time where millionaires are made.
That
So
was
let us kind of just expound on that for our audience to get the benefit of what you meant from that statement. So let's stay with you, Havis, and then we'll come to you, Felix, so you can share some thoughts on that. And then we also want to make sure we give our audience some resources, because I think it is so important to educate our audience if you're interested in doing better, if you're interested in a new opportunity in new ways. And then I also want to hear your views on this whole cryptocurrency craze that I keep hearing about. And I feel like, I should just take all my money and put it in cryptocurrency, because there's a craze. Even in Dominica, I'm hearing a lot about this cryptocurrency. So let's touch on a few things this evening. So first, millionaires are made during this time. What did you mean by that?
actually, it was Felix who said that, and he was
Oh,
right.
Felix.
But I did say during times like these, when the rubber hits the road, you have to dig in deeper. Look at today. I just found out, it's on my Facebook page. LeBron James, Forbes says LeBron James is now a billionaire.
Wow.
LeBron James did not attend university or college. Not that he couldn't go, but he had a commodity that was just playing basketball and he was really good at, and he became one.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are trying to build it the fast way. Nothing worth having happens instantly. And people, for example, who gamble or do the lottery, if you didn't come from money and you hit the lottery, you probably will be broke in a few years because you don't know how to manage it. You don't know what to do because you're spending fruitlessly. What I can say is during these times, people create creative ways.
Yes.
I mean, they think of
That is the
what can
key.
I can't go to work. What can I do? And
Yes.
when you have entrepreneurs thinking how to make communities, the United States, Canada, the Caribbean better, we're talking about Jody and we're talking about Luana, those people, finance focus, and she does finance focus. I'm picking on her because I'm in love with what she's doing and what Felix is doing as well. But you know what? It doesn't matter if you're in Dominica or if you're here. What you need to do is find out what you're good at. I don't care if it's hair.
Yes.
I don't care if it's fruits, cooking, a chef, whatever it may be, massaging people's bodies, whatever it may be. Parlay that into something as an entrepreneur and you can build your wealth. And as you're building, you can invest. Felix, I yield the mic to you.
Yeah, and I agree with what you say, Havis. You know what, I go and give, just extending on what you said again, I go and give some like action items some people could do.
Please.
So like all of us have something that we're good at. Every single one of us has something that we're good at. We cannot be good at everything, right? So I think people should probably like an action item to do probably for today, or this week, by the end of this week, or this weekend when you have some time, take a pen and a paper and write down everything that you're good at, everything that you think you're good at. Or if you don't know anything that you're good at, ask a friend or ask a family member. Like there was when the pandemic started, I kind of thought of going and do comedy because I think I have a little 1-2 jokes, right?
Okay.
But then I say, you know what, man, I'm not going to do that, right? So I'll focus on another skill, right? So even for me, I actually started my own other side hustle. I already run my own business, yes, but like I started other side hustles just because the pandemic gave me so much more time. I no longer have to travel to for an hour to go and meet any one of my clients or anything like that, and that time I don't want it to go to waste, and to use it because again, the future is owned by those who prepare for it today, right? So one action item, please write down all the things that you're good at. One thing that you can do as well is when you actually write down that list, choose like the top 5 things, or write down or circle the things that you enjoy doing, circle the ones that you enjoy doing and try to come up with like a top 5. And out of that top 5, like select which one is probably like the easiest or the one that you have like the closest access to doing, So like for me, I'll just give you my own example, right? One of the things that I actually saw that I was good at is like taxes. When I went to school for accounting and taxes, I enjoyed doing taxes, to the point where I actually ran a tax clinic where I actually had to hire 30 students, students that I went to school with, right? I had to hire 30 of them, put them in a classroom and do taxes for like low income people. So it was like a volunteer program that I was doing with the CRA. CRA is the equivalent to IRS in America. So with the CRA, we're running that community volunteer income tax program is what its official name is, right? And there we did like over 500 tax returns, in just like one tax season, and that took us about like I think it was about a month to a month and a half, if all that, and then when the pandemic started, I was like, man, you know what? I've never even watched a full series on Netflix before the pandemic. When the pandemic started, I started watching series, started watching movies and all that. I was like, yo, Felix, man, you have too much time on your hands. But at the same time, I said,
Yes.
God telling you to relax a bit too, so take your relaxation. But then, the hustler in me got up and said, no, man, I can't do that for too long. So then, yeah, I say, you know what? Some people started asking me, hey, Felix, you doing taxes this year? I remember the first person I tell them, you know what? I don't really like doing taxes too much, only because like I already deal with finances, help people with finances, and I seen some really bad audits,
Wow.
like taxation audits, some bad ones, even to the point where when one of my clients was owing about like $66,000 to the government, right after being audited. And I say, man, I don't want to end up in that. But then after, I say, you know what, Felix, you're a brave man, so just do it. So I started doing that, and then year over year, it grew in. Like even this year too, it was hectic for me as well. Doing tax, it was good. I enjoy it, and now I feel like I can probably run a tax course. So funny thing is, I actually have a journal. This is like my fifth journal I'm writing. Like I have notebooks with all types of ideas, and I recently actually did this again, where I said, okay, what am I good at? And I listed a whole ton of things I was good at. And one of the things I said that I could do with my skills is actually make a do-it-yourself taxation course, right? That's just my own ideas I sharing with you all.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So that's what it was for me. But you know what? I actually know someone, right? Who well is yeah. I know someone, right? And they're really good at baking, like really good at baking. Um, and she was only doing it as just a hobby type of a thing, right? And she started doing it, and now she earns like probably at least like $1,000 a month
Yes,
doing that.
yes.
Yeah, for people.
And I like the word you use, hustler, Felix, because I think all of us hustlers have a journal. This
Yeah.
is
See,
my,
good.
I saw here you have one too, where you put
Mhm.
all your ideas. So I'm so grateful that you're sharing concrete and practical things that we can all do. And I want to encourage anyone who did not hear the beginning of the program, you can always go back and listen to the program. If you're listening on Untapped Potential, my radio program, remember that the entire podcast of this program will be on pushpast10.com, so you can listen to the entire podcast. And of course, the question of cryptocurrency is coming in the
Yes, it
chat.
is.
But before we do, let us make sure we acknowledge some folks because we have quite an audience. My sister, Sabria Senhouse, I see you, Bria. Thank you for being here. Kathleen Peltier is here. Empress, thank you for being here. Balan Toussaint Nervi is here. So thank you guys. Connie Ito, Philip Thomas, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to share the live. Glenda said, yes, he did. Well done. That's your explanations on Amazon. Robert Tong had a very good question. And speaking of serial entrepreneurs, Mr. Robert Tong absolutely fits the bill on that one. And we're hoping to have him back on the program. He's been with us before. Robert, I think your invitation is overdue. You need to come back and join us. So he says, can your team educate people here on cryptocurrency scams and MLM Ponzi schemes? So I think that is the direction we were going in the conversation. So Robbie, thank you for asking that question. Glenda says, Felix, you're very determined. Sharon
Yeah,
asks, is crypto a scam? Robert, no, it is not, but there are scams out there. Eagle Bless says blessings. Sabria says excellent advice. Yes, so I think, like anything else, many of us are interested in the new opportunity that cryptocurrency seems to be bringing. But of course, there are scams. So, can you just give us a brief introduction, if you would, to the idea of cryptocurrency? So, Felix, let me go over to you for that.
Okay, and thank you to Robert Tong. Thank you to Glenda as well. and Sharon for participating in the discussion. Thank you so much. So cryptocurrency. So like everything else, like it has its pros and cons. Cryptocurrency is a real thing. It does have its benefits, and I am one person. I'll let you know. I do believe in cryptocurrency, 100%. I personally do own it, but I cannot give you advice on it. Right?
Yes.
Basically, you do have to do your due diligence as far as choosing what platform you do your cryptocurrencies on, and also just like sometimes it's hard to not get scammed, to be honest. I've actually seen people. Hello, are we
Yes.
still
We're
on?
We're
here.
here. We're
Yes,
here.
we
Okay,
are.
still on.
Yes.
Loading a bit for me. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. Yeah, so the thing is the way scam artists work is that they work on psychology, right?
Mhm.
Like cryptocurrency, it's been a very hot topic. And since it's been a hot topic, they have just came up with creative ways that basically caused a spike in scams, not just in Canada, but that's happening like around the world, right? So for scams, I think it's you just have to really be sharp and be like have some kind of pessimism, I would say, when it comes to things that like to new areas that you're going into. You kind of like want to probably speak to someone that has been in it for a while, before you jump in. So that way they could give you some kind of guidance. That is usually the best way to go about it. Like, for example, it was one of my clients who actually put me onto cryptocurrency, and he's a guy who actually owns his own real estate brokerage. And he actually went to the point where he sold one of his properties and he put all the money that he made from his property into Bitcoin. Yeah. So when he showed me all that, and he educated me a lot because this guy had to really pong it into my head before I got into it, you know. And when I started actually digesting it and I started seeing the benefits of it. I I then actually started getting into it. And after getting into it, I actually started doing even more research on it. So that way I myself can, talk to just my people that surround me. Yeah, because since I'm a financial advisor, it's not something I can actually speak
Right.
on. Like
Now let me
on.
just ask you, do you remember where you went to do the research? Because I think that would be helpful for our audience if they can at least get a lead on where can I do more research? Because we have Sabria, who's, for example, asking about crypto mining, and many of us would not even know what that is. So, and again, Robert, if you have information and you want to come and share with us, you can always reach out to me. You know how to get in touch with me. So, do you have any information in terms of where we can find more information, educate ourselves on cryptocurrency?
Yeah, so there's so many places.
Yeah,
I
that's the
would say,
problem. It's too
yeah,
many.
that really and truly there is way too many. For
Yeah.
for me, I have learned from so many different places,
Mhm.
but I'll let you know some of that I have at the top of my head. There's
Mhm.
um there's this guy on YouTube that I
Mhm.
followed, and he posts probably multiple videos on cryptocurrencies in one day, like more than one videos a day on it. And I jump into his videos every now and then. It's some crypto.
Let me.
He really
I'm actually
Yeah.
typing it in crypto
So
YouTube.
crypto on YouTube.
M
I also
M
I
crypto.
Yeah, yeah, crypto.
Yep.
Um Also, there's another one. He's a very young guy. I can't remember his name. But there's another one named Crypto Jack.
Okay.
Crypto Jack on YouTube. I have this like the Android phones has like Google News, like it always brings different news items into your feed.
Right.
And I think there's algorithms that like decides what types of information that you get in your feed. So I do
Mhm.
get a lot of things on like health, wealth, and all that stuff. So cryptocurrency is one topic that actually comes up a lot for me.
Mhm.
Also, whenever I'm actually, if before I decide to go in a different cryptocurrency or so, I do some research on it as well.
Mhm.
Um, and I also have like clients who are very diversified. I actually have one of my clients who is, I think he's either 19 or 20 right now, and he actually gave me a like a crash course on NFTs, because NFTs was something that I wasn't so
What are
knowledgeable.
NFTs?
Non-fungible token. So it's like a picture. It's just like a picture, and you buy in that picture, and it's like there's like a code for your picture, something like that, right? I still don't fully understand it, but I have some level of understanding on it, a very basic level of understanding. What I also do is I listen to a lot of different podcasts on Spotify. Spotify is golden to me. So one of the cryptocurrency stuff I listened to, it was by a guy named Tim Ferriss on Spotify, and there's
Let me
also
write it down. I'm putting them in the comments.
okay,
Tim, Tim, spell Ferris.
Ferris.
Okay.
And there's Gary V as well. Gary V actually spoke about NFTs a lot. I think NFTs is something that everyone should be listening, like trying to educate themselves on right now as well, because it's affecting a lot of different industries, especially like the creative industry, like music, artists, all that stuff. It's really going to be
Major
big. And
player.
also, yeah, and also you all probably heard about the metaverse stuff, right? Hello?
Yes, we're here. We're here.
Yes, we
You're
hear you.
good. We can hear you.
We can hear you, Felix.
Okay. For some reason, it was just sticking for me. I don't know why it's doing that.
No,
on
you're
my screen.
fine. You're fine.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so with the metaverse and all that stuff, there's even cryptocurrencies that like NFTs are also affected by cryptocurrencies. From what I know, it's specific to Ethereum and this other one called Solana. Because it's like that's the only way you can buy it. You have to use those cryptocurrencies to buy it. Also in the metaverse, it's like the metaverse has its own cryptocurrencies that are used, to purchase a land in the metaverse and all that.
Right. And I think that's one of the reasons people get so overwhelmed and paralyzed, because there is so much information out there
Yep.
that it simply becomes overwhelming. And this is
Yes.
one of the reasons that we bring on our financial experts, because the idea is that we want those who will listen to this program, those who are currently watching, to now reach out to you individually to create a plan that is suitable for them. Because Sabria is right. She says each person has to do their research before they get comfortable and know their risk appetite before jumping in. And she is
100.
absolutely correct. She says to start small. So now what I want to make sure we do before we leave today is ensure that our audience knows exactly how to get in touch with you, Felix, because you're in Canada, Havis, because you're in the US, and the next time we're going to have Luana, so we can just cover all bases.
That's
Unfortunately, we probably won't have somebody from the UK, which would be nice as well because the time difference. But before I forget, let me ensure that we share your contact information. So for anyone in Canada looking for financial advice, Felix is available. He's one of us, which is very important. Sorry, guys. Anyway, he's one. You know me, Dominican to the bone. So
Yeah.
let us share some of your information in case anyone in Canada wants to reach out to you one-on-one, because I think a lot of this conversation has to be a one-on-one conversation that it involves around risk and your appetite for risk and what you're looking to do short-term, intermediate term, and long-term.
Definitely. Well, I can be reached on Facebook. I have like a Facebook wealth page as well. If you just write Felix Thomas Jr., you should get me there. Also on Instagram, you can find me as the Financial Doctor. On YouTube, you can find me as Felix Thomas. Also, if you would like to send me an email, like so that we could probably book a one-on-one, I can be reached at felix.thomas@ig.ca.
Let me write it down. Felix
Dot
Thomas
at
ig.ca. So for those of you listening via Untapped Potential on the radio, it's Felix, Felix .Thomas. You should know how to spell that, at IG as in George, .C as in cat, A as in apple. Right, Felix?
That's it. Yep, that's it. Yep,
and before I forget, Havis, your contact information, well, your phone number is all over everywhere, push past centers, but just remind us one more time, because you can be contacted via WhatsApp as well, right?
Yeah, Doc, but just before I do that, I do want to give a shout out to someone who's on the line. Felix's aunt, Lucinda Badville Alfred, who actually told me about him 2 years ago, and it took me 2 years to get in touch with him. And I feel bad because actually, Doc, we are related. We're cousins.
Yes.
And the funny thing about it is, I'm so glad because he's such a a brilliant young man.
He
So I just
is.
want to, your auntie's watching, man, and she's so
Mhm.
proud of you. So I'm proud of him as well. But
Yeah.
my
Thank you, Auntie
to get
Lucinda.
you're welcome. Hey, but to get in touch with me is really easy. I'm on Facebook, Havis Badwill. You know, talking about crypto a little while ago. I get a lot of people hit me up on IG, Instagram all the time. I usually decline them because I am not knowledgeable in that. I don't. I have a lot of colleagues who do it, and people come and ask me all the time. And
Mhm.
I tell them as well, do their research. But if you go to Facebook, Havis Badwill, that's me. If you're in America, Badui or Badui Financial Services on Facebook. Instagram, you can get me at Badui Financial 64, or my personal Instagram is HTB964. And also, if you want to call me, if you're in the US, you can call me at my cell phone is 864-607-1361. And people have actually hit me up on um on WhatsApp. And actually, for some Canadians who've hit me up, I referred them to a couple of them to Felix, and he does the same thing
Good.
with me as well. So we kind of reciprocate, and that's what it's
Mhm.
about. But we can be found on social media. Just look at our names. You can find us, and hit Dr. Simone Push Past 10. She knows how to find us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So again, if you need to reach any one of them, you can also email me as well as pushpast10@gmail.com, pushpast10@gmail.com. Let's see what Robert is saying. He's saying the ability to authenticity own and I think authentically own an asset is what you're trying to say. Images, songs, videos, that way to truly know who owned that item. The same can be done with land titles. That way you know who owns it and then can purchase such. So there is so
Yeah.
much information out there. And if anybody needs just some basic information, because I think it is so important to be able to get the basics, I always recommend Investopia, right? So instead of encyclopedia, the website is called
Yeah.
Investopia, right? So you can simply go on there and you can search just about anything to kind of just get the knowledge that you need. But you have to take the time. You have to take the time to look into the information. You have to take the time to contact one of our financial experts, because this is the time where millionaires are made. And you don't want to look back on this time and say, I should have done, I should have done, I should have done. You should be doing it right now. Let's see what Sabria is saying. What are the tax implications of investing in crypto in the US? I know it was one of the items on our tax returns this year. So if you guys cannot answer that question, then I think we need to get a crypto expert in here quick.
I will jump real quickly, Doc. I know some people are doing IRAs and retirement planning with crypto as well. And what I'm telling people is this. First of all, if you're not familiar with it, do your research like what was suggested before. But do the traditional things that you know that can be effective for you and can be protected. You have to hedge against losses. It's
Mhm.
okay to take risk. Taking risk is part of life, but don't jump into anything blindly and then use all of, like Felix talked about. He had a client who dumped his earnings from a sale, but this guy's been doing it for a while. Don't do that. You want to do an IRA, do that. You want to do a Roth IRA, do that. I'm against that, but that's neither here or there. Also, make sure that you're doing your research slowly and surely, because there's a plethora of ways that you can have income and you can create wealth for you and your family on the safe level. But if you want to do crypto, that's all to you. But do your research, because I'm definitely not recommending anyone ask me about it, because I'll refer you.
Right.
And also, Doc, really important, I do a lot of my research on TikTok. It'll blow your mind how much
Mhm.
professionals are on TikTok, how many professionals are on TikTok. And what you do, you vet them out, check them out, find out if they're really licensed or different things, and you can do that. But you do your research, and that way you'll feel better. You'll sleep good at night. Because, like Felix says, the advice that we give to our clients, they sleep like this at night.
Hmm.
Fine. They don't
Yeah,
worry.
and Havis, I so appreciate your honesty, because I think one of the things we're finding is that people who are not qualified to talk on topics they're offering advice out there and it's incorrect advice. So when I hear you say, you know what, I'm not qualified to advise you on cryptocurrency, we appreciate that, because now we can find someone else who's able to direct us on that. So before we go, I want to make sure if we have any other resources we would like to share with the audience, that we do so. And of course, we're going to have you guys back soon. Hopefully we can get someone who can talk on crypto, and we have so much to talk about. I mean, we have to talk about, mortgages and how so many people have the down payments now, but they still can't afford mortgages. So there's always something to talk about in the area of money. Right. So if, Felix, you're new, so we'll put the pressure on you. If you can
No
think of
problem.
any topics, if you can think
Yeah.
of any topic ideas, and we can come back maybe once every other month to have
Yeah.
these conversations, I think our audience greatly benefits from your expertise. So any other resource we want to just throw out there before we head out?
I would say, well, you know what? Follow my pages, because I
Yes.
do put like different money resources there. I just wanted to point out that what Robert was talking about there, the comment, that is, I believe that's the NFTs he's speaking of. Because when you own an NFTs, like it does show ownership of your image, song, and even for land titles.
Too much, boy.
That's it, so yeah, just to be specific with it, because NFTs, it's really like the concept of it, it's very interesting, and I think it's really a good, like, fresh way to start doing things, which most likely it will be beneficial for a lot of people. And then for the tax stuff, for Sabria's question about the
Sabria.
tax on the cryptocurrency, I don't know if I think the US does it similar to Canada, but because I do taxes here as well, I know that for the cryptocurrency in particular, it is treated similar to the way that stocks are treated, where it's like if the cryptocurrency you bought cost you, I'll just use simple figures. If it cost you $1,000, and then let's say over a year it doubled, right, to 2,000, you would have a capital gain of 1,000, and the 1,000 is what gets taxed. Well, in Canada, we have a capital gains inclusion rate, which is 50%. So it's like 50% of that 1,000 would be added to your income. So that means 500 would be treated the same way that your income is treated, basically.
Right.
And
Right.
that's the way it's done.
And Felix, I'm not sure if you're looking at the Facebook, but if you can type in your pages in the comment section, I'm not sure if you're able to do so on another device. I think
yes.
that would be
Okay.
helpful as well. Heavis, final thoughts as we wind down.
Yeah, final thoughts, folks. It doesn't matter what we're going through today. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter. Stop talking about next year and next month and tomorrow. Start talking about today. Take ownership of what you're doing. If you're spending frivolously, cut back. Find ways. You can't eliminate taxes. You cannot eliminate interest, but find ways to minimize it. I mean, like I tell people, I only do three things in what I do here in the U.S. I only do income protection, debt elimination, and legacy creation. I believe, Felix just talked about capital gains. I think the Biden administration is trying to tax you on realized and unrealized capital gains, and that's ridiculous. So I tell people, why can't you just have tax favored income? Have it on a tax-free basis. I say it all the time. The 7702 code, Doc, you know it. That's well. You're doing that for your daughter. That's where people can dump money into cash value life insurance and access it tax-free via loans, and you never have to pay taxes on it. I'm not telling you not to invest. I'm not telling you not to do all the different things that you're doing, but hedge against your losses, because I don't know. There's three kinds of monies in the U.S. I don't know about anywhere else, but there's taxable, tax deferred, and tax-free. And I like the tax-free one better and that's what the wealthy does. So be like the wealthy, do the research, talk to the people who have the knowledge to help you so that we can have a better everybody, whether it's in Dominica, Canada, the US, wherever, Europe, or wherever it may be. And thank you so much, everybody, for listening to us tonight.
Yes, thank you for being here. Felix, final thoughts as we wind down?
For final thoughts, I would say that, no matter where you are in the world, there are some money principles that remain constant, no matter where you are, which is one, in like, you see your income, the income that you make, it will only make you a living. For it to actually make a fortune, you have to be buying and selling. In buying and selling, you buy low, you sell high. And that's how people make money on the stock market. That's how people make money in anything, in any kind of business. You buy low, you sell high. So if you have a skill where, like whatever skill it is, you basically have to learn to sell that skill. Learn selling skills. That's going to bring money to you. The more that you improve yourself, the more that money will come to you. That's just the fact. Improve yourself. Don't worry about what's happening outside of yourself, because it's still going to be happening. After summer will always be fall. After fall will always be winter. After winter will always be spring.
right.
So if you see you work on yourself, you provide value, you're going to actually be making money. The same way like Bill Gates and all these guys didn't have to go to school for them to become valuable. They worked on their skill. They put in their 10,000 hours of whatever their craft was, and they basically made billions from it, right? So yeah, it's the same thing for everyone else. Like I myself, I still working on my craft. I'm not perfect in anything. I'm
Right.
far from that. But I still working on it. Havy's still working on his own. Simone's
right.
still working on her own, and we're still basically trying to learn new things and become better. So I think it's everyone have to just apart from just the money of it, focus on becoming a better person, and like everything else flows through that. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So what I did, I went ahead and I'm gonna pin your Facebook pages onto this. So it's Optimistic Felix for you, Felix, and
Yep.
Havis Badwell. So if anyone wants to get in touch with you, they can do. So I want to thank you for being here, and thank you for joining the community. Felix, I think you're a wonderful addition. Havis, as always, thank you for your contribution. Thank you, Facebook, YouTube, and everyone who's watching via pushpast10.com. We will be back again with another presentation of Push Past 10. I am Simone Matthew. It is always great to be here. Don't forget to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Don't forget to follow us if you're watching on Facebook, and click the notification button to let us know when we will be live again. And as of next week, I will be in Dominica. Yes,
Oh!
yes, Havis. I know you want to be in my suitcase. You want to be in my suitcase. So we will be doing a couple of programs. There's a new university in Dominica, St. Joseph's University. So we will be having an interview with them, as well as Roots Connections, and who knows what else I'll get into when we're in Dominica. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you for your participation, everyone on Facebook. And until we meet again next time, you have yourself a wonderful evening. Thank you, guys. Say bye.
Yeah, thank
Good
you.
night, everybody. God
Good night,
bless you.
everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes.